Question: ds. If a to the power of 5 times b to the power of 6 times c to the power of 7 is greater than 0, is a times b cubed times c to the power of 5 less than 0? Condition 1. b is less than 0. Condition 2. c is greater than 0. Solution: let us solve this ds question using the variable approach. Only the odd exponents remain. Although square or even exponents are also important, when one side of an inequality is multiplication and the other side is 0, only odd exponents remain. This is because squares or even exponents are always positive. Thus, the sign of a product is determined by the odd exponents. Let us follow the first step of variable approach by modifying and rechecking the original condition and the question. We are required to verify whether a times b cubed times c to the power of 5 is less than 0 if a to the power of 5 times b to the power of 6 times c to the power of 7 is greater than 0. This type of question appears in the exam often. You should remember these skills. Ignore the square or even exponents, and only the odd exponents remain when there is a 0 on one side. We are given that a to the power of 5 times b to the power of 6 times c to the power of 7 is greater than 0. Now only the odd exponents remain, and by ignoring the even exponent factor, a to the power of 5 times b to the power of 6 times c to the power of 7 is greater than 0 becomes a times c is greater than 0. So we are given that a times c is greater than 0, meaning both a and c have the same sign. Also, we are required to verify whether a times b cubed times c to the power of 5 is less than 0, which can be written as whether a times b times c is less than 0 after removing even exponent factors. You should remember that only odd exponents remain. Thus, we are asked whether a times b times c is less than 0 if a times c is greater than 0. That is, a and c have the same sign. As a times c is greater than 0, we can divide a times b times c is less than 0 by a times c to get a times b times c whole over a times c is less than 0 over a times c, or b is less than 0. So we have to verify whether b is less than 0. Let us take a look at condition 1. It tells us that b is less than 0. This is what we were looking for, and thus the answer to the question, is b less than 0, is a unique yes. So the condition is sufficient according to CMT1, which states that the answer will be in terms of a unique yes or no. Condition 2 tells us that c is greater than 0. We cannot say anything about whether b is less than 0 or not. If a equal to 1 and b equal to -3, that is less than 0, and c equal to 2, then a times c equal to 1 times 2, that equals to 2, which is greater than 0. Thus, the answer to the question, is b less than 0, is yes. However, if a equal to 1 and b equal to 3, that is greater than 0, and c equal to 2, then a times c equal to 1 times 2, that equals to 2, which is greater than 0. Thus, the answer to the question, is b less than 0, is no. Since we have yes and no as an answer to the same question, the condition is not sufficient to answer the original question according to CMT1, which states that if you get both yes and no as the answer, it is not sufficient. Condition 1 alone is sufficient. A is an answer by the modification. Thus, A is the correct answer. Answer A.